There's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
I
And that is the most positive part of our show. All right, so here we are, the Dave and Dave, but not Dave, with Dave and Jennifer show today.
Oh, I'm so happy.
You look nothing like him, thankfully.
I don't know what to say. Thank you, but I'm glad you noticed the difference. This is good.
My father has some issues. He, I guess the wind doesn't agree with him.
No, and that's, you know what? It's beautiful outside, but what that wind blows around really messes with my head. So, it's like sinus headaches.
Yep.
End of the day, eyes are like,
Terrible.
it's not good. Not good. This is the one part of this time that I could really do without. It's twice a year, coming into it, coming out of it.
Yeah, I used to get strep throat every time in New York.
Ooh, that's awful.
Yeah, I never got it here. So for those of you who don't know, the notorious Jennifer Hill,
On occasion, yes, that's true.
our Southwest broker, also our lead broker over in Green Valley. You got a lot of hats.
I got quite a few hats.
A lot of hats.
I'm wearing them pretty good though.
A lot of hats.
I'm doing good. Doing good. Super happy. Really excited about the Southwest office.
Yep.
Though, I mean, great agent. As much as I miss being in Summerlin and I miss the agents here, really excited about being over there. Very welcoming. And I am hopping over there.
Yeah. Nice.
It's not. That's a busy office.
You ever hear of South by Southwest?
South by Southwest.
You guys probably have heard about South by South. No one's heard of South by Southwest? Danny's saying yes. Okay.
What the heck are you
It's
talking
this
about?
festival it's like a music festival. They do TED Talks. It's a technology festival, and they have it in Austin every year. It's awesome.
I've never been.
It's really cool.
I've been through Texas. I've never stopped other than to catch a cruise ship. Never stopped long enough to like. They have really big bugs there.
Yeah, but Austin is awesome. Austin is the gem of Texas. But what I was thinking about this recently, and I never ran with it, but I was like, we should call it Urban Nest by Southwest, like South by Southwest, like it's like a movie festival there. It's awesome. Southwest is an awesome office in the real estate world, and not a lot of companies have it, but it is a great booming area.
The dirt work has started.
The Bend,
Yeah.
I know the owners of that. They're pushing things around right now, right?
Yes.
They doing
Yes.
anything with Lifetime Fitness?
Not yet. I haven't seen anything break.
Yeah.
But it's waiting. It's waiting. The road work is happening right now.
Then across the way is those Uncommons,
Yes.
which is going to be awesome. So it serves a lot of our valley to Southwest. You have, you can kind of have a little bit of Southern Highlands. You got some Mountain's Edge. You have Rhodes Ranch. You have Southern Terrace. You have the Curve.
Yes.
It's a great.
We've got a nice pool.
Yes.
We've got a nice pool.
And then if you're traveling from Summerlin, it's a good stopping point. If you're traveling from Green Valley,
We're right there.
So go see her over at South.
say
We got a
hi.
beautiful office over there. It's great. Beautiful. So chaos is coming.
Keep saying this. I don't know.
So
we can perceive it as chaos, or we can say, you know what? This is just the normal thing of change within real estate, or we can totally freak out about it.
I'm not freaking out.
Okay, this is good. This makes me happy.
They're making it. I don't want to sound overconfident.
Why not? That would be different.
But I will. So yesterday, the CFPB, whether you like or dislike the CFPB.
Yes, I did read this.
It's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So
Which was a huge impact
on our
years
industry.
ago.
Yes. So when the 2008 crisis came, all the mortgage-backed securities, and they were, it was basically fraudulent mortgage activities that put us in this really bad spot, right? So Dodd-Frank, this package was put into place. Now in some areas, because I'm a true libertarian across the middle, I'm a little too low here, I'm going up higher. I felt like I was on the floor. No, I was sitting on the floor. It wasn't you, it was me. Like I didn't like where I was. So and being completely fair, there were some areas of the Dodd-Frank bill that corrected things that needed to be corrected, and there were some that overcorrected,
That went
way over,
stupid.
without a doubt.
And really disrupted us in a way that was like,
Yeah.
well, now what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, with someone with me, like, I have a conservative wallet and a liberal heart, right? So I'm very in the middle with this stuff. But so, one of the things that has saved us and kept us on a nice trajectory is the fact that no Tom, Dick, and Harry can just go get a loan for any amount, right? So I believe what has capped our economy as far as the housing market goes has been affordability.
Yes.
Right? And the reason why is a couple of reasons, people need to be making more money, but on the other end, you can't just go and buy any house with very little debt to income ratios, and you have to have more skin in the game, which if we see a recession, if you put 20% down, you can handle it.
Yes.
Now,
I'm going to say yes because a lot of people, when they think recession, they think what we experienced back in 2008 and moving forward from there. And I am 99.9% that is not what we're not going to encounter that.
Well, yesterday the CFPB loosened up regulations on lending, which means that you are going to eventually be able to get loans with less requirements. Now, some would argue this is great for the economy. Some would argue that this is going to make people or allow people to get into houses more. This is a slippery slope. Would you agree?
I definitely agree it's a slippery slope. But I think that the last round of this is still fresh enough in our minds. And yes, as a society, we are notorious for short-term memory and long-term memory. We have issues. But
Okay.
I think this is still fresh enough in our minds that we're not going to allow that to happen. However,
Don't
we
worry.
are like in
Go for it. I'm just breaking chops.
I really think that the banks will tighten up their overlays on themselves.
And I don't.
And just really?
No, I think the banks are like, how many more ways can I make money? How many more ways can I get more loans into people's hands? How many ways can I grow my business? I don't think the banks have, the foresight to worry about. You have someone in that bank or a CEO or a junior executive that is focused on Q2, Q3, Q4, making more money, keeping their jobs, making the stock prices look good. I think they're just
I know
like,
there's the corporate side of everything, which is where's the return? Where's our return?
Yeah.
We have to keep seeing increases in that. But at some point, I mean, they took a hit.
Yeah, but they got bailed out. Right?
Yes.
So I'm with you.
But it took a long time for that to actually for them to get that bailout. And
How long ago was 2008?
Well, let me see.
That's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question.
12 years ago is.
How old were you two? 11?
Oh my god.
Right. I was, let's see, 20, I was just turning 30. So I'm saying 12 years is a long time. And we are destined, how's the saying go? We are destined to repeat the sins of the past or something like that, right? Isn't that the quote?
You know what? I don't like that quote. I would like to think that we need to learn from our past mistakes.
Yeah, well, this is...
And here's the other thing. I don't think I need the government to be sitting on me in order for me to do the right thing.
And that is where I will let it slide. Because I know I need no. You see, so this is interesting. I like this because, kids need parents, adults need doctors to tell them what's up. We all need coaches. We all need mentors. We all need someone to, not to like blend my other venture into this, but to show us where our blind spots are. And I think there is a huge blind spot. This is almost like you know, I love to read. I got this book yesterday, this like Time magazine book about the Roaring 20s.
Okay.
Of 1900s, right? And all the avarice and just the optimism and this like it's gonna go on forever. And I couldn't help but see the similarities.
You think that we're in an optimistic age right now?
I don't think politically we are, but I think with the stock market approaching 30,000, with the economy increasing and improving for 12 straight years, I think there is a little bit of a, not necessarily bulletproof feel, but I think people feel pretty secure. You know, I do a lot of one-on-ones, and even our agents, more so than ever, are saying, I think it's time to buy a house, a rental, like, you know what I mean? Like, and my gut is that Warren Buffett gut, always go in the opposite direction of the public.
Okay.
Right? And I know Warren Buffett's sitting on more cash than he's ever had in his entire life. He's been pulling out of markets and things like that. So, just saying. Here's the good news. I know what frame you're trying to do. There's good news for the housing market. I'm going to tell them what to do, but I want to hear where you're coming from.
Well, I just think that we have buyers who it is for buyers coming in. They absolutely should be purchasing a home right now.
Agreed.
There has not been a better time than right now to get into
mortgage rates are absolutely fantastic.
But I think our sellers are not feeling quite the same way.
So I haven't looked at these statistics. I'm going to give them to you. My father did these yesterday, but I know that the previous 2 weeks, every week, the availability is dropping. I think, let's see, 5% a week maybe. Let's see, there's 5,000 homes. There's 100 homes. 10% is 500. No, like a couple of percent, 2-3% a week. The inventory is dropping.
You see the weather outside? How it changed this quickly?
The escrows.
I think those numbers are gonna change just as fast.
The escrows are going up at the same, which makes sense if the availability is going down, the escrow's going up, right? But I think by the time January is over, we may have a less than 2 months supply.
We have how many? 3 days?
Yes.
3 days, in 3 days' time.
I am going to predict that we will have less than a 60-day supply when the numbers come out.
Oh, I don't want to do this. Just so you know, that was totally against my will.
Let the record show that no one coerced. Did you see the new Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? He's on a date, right? And he puts a camera up, and he goes, I just want to document our date. And he's like,
but no, I don't. I don't watch TV.
Oh, Larry David's hysterical.
No,
and in this climate, he's like, would it be agreeable for me to put my hand on your shoulder? She's like, yes, that would be agreeable. Okay. And like they do this thing because of the whole like how hard it is to date.
Like,
and now I'm going
dating world is not cool.
Now I'm going to kiss you just with a peck. Would that be okay? Yes, that'd be okay. And he's filming the whole thing. I guess you had to be
As
there.
you can see,
It's a stage.
I did nothing this year.
Did nothing. It's all documented. All right, so I put the music is gaining speed. Will there be any seats left when it stops? So remember musical chairs, and
yes.
So if you don't know what musical chairs is, basically you play the music and there's 7 people and 6 chairs, or there's 7 people and 5 chairs, and he goes.
And they keep taking one away, and you hope that no fist fights break out.
So.
But somebody generally gets hurt because it shove them
right before the music stops, what happens? It starts speeding up, and everyone starts going faster. So what I'm saying is, it's eventually going to happen. The music is going to stop, and will you have a chair? Now, I don't want to be an alarmist.
Please don't.
I do believe you can potentially, if you're careful, time this market.
Okay, I can totally be on board with that.
Okay, so now you feel all right?
I can be on board with that. I don't think it's this year. I think we still got. I think this is going to be a good year. I think 2020.
I agree. 100%.
is not the time for us to panic. This is not when we're going to see this huge adjustment.
So
we're still gonna see some signs, some more signs of things coming, changes.
I think we see 8% growth this year.
I love that number.
I think
that's optimistic.
I think we see 8% growth, and I think we see inventory shortage that we haven't seen since 2013. I think we are ready. We're going to talk about acceleration clauses, and we're going to talk about things that we've seen in 2013 when the market got really, really hot. 2014.
We were writing some crazy contracts.
Right? So we're going to talk about that. But here's where I'm at. Number one, we talked about this, but I want to make it crystal clear. As long as the interest rates are low, that will offset, to me personally, the rising prices. Okay? Because you have to take into account of a home that you can purchase maybe in 5 years for 10 or 15% less that has a mortgage rate for 2 or 3% more. That becomes apples to apples. Even though it doesn't seem like it, unless you're paying cash,
well, then that's
different game. But if you're taking a loan on it, it's going to be very similar. And in a video I made before, this is your house. This is not an investment to flip. This isn't an investment for a cash return weekly or monthly. This is an investment in you.
This is you. This is your family. And when we say long term, we're talking. And some people are thinking, oh, well, 2 years. No, this is not a 2-year turnaround time frame. This is more like the 5 to 7 year turnaround time frame.
Exactly. And then even then, I think it's so ironic that we'll invest in vehicles that we know are going to lose a ton of value, and we don't even give it a second thought.
As soon as we leave the lot.
And you don't have any chance in 5 to 7 years to see appreciation and whatever. So.
Well, unless it's something that was limited,
a vintage.
And you go and you just drive it off and you stick it in the garage and it sits there for
you gotta wait there 20, 30 years. And then you gotta reinvest and modify it and make it nice again. So yeah, it's
keep it original.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want a '68 Camaro, but those things are like $100,000. I'm not spending $100,000 on a '68 Camaro
that you could take out and somebody rear end you, and
exactly.
it's
not happening. So we're on the same page. Great time to buy.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
And we're on the same page. We think there's going to be an increase in appreciation this year.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely 100% believe in that.
So this is what I would say. If you're looking to invest in your family, you are in a great spot. I believe you'll be in a great spot in the coming years. Interest rates will stay low. I believe regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, it's in everyone's best interest right now for interest rates to stay low. And even if the interest rates go up and the prices go down, still, it's always a good time to buy for your own home. I really believe in that because you find a house you like.
I can always stay. I don't have to move.
Exactly.
I can always wait it out. So, and we've got the extra things of interest rate. Which is the big one. Okay, so I've got a question for you before you...
Go for it.
So, what if I'm not looking for just investing in my family? I am the investor, because we've got a lot of people coming in here looking to invest, and that's their thing. They want to invest in Las Vegas.
So this is my attempt being Nostradamus, right? I'm going to give you my best guess. Okay. That's all it is. It's a guess. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're full of it, because no one can predict the future 100%. Anyone who's telling you that, lying. Plus, it's illegal. My best guess... It is.
Just asking your opinion.
My best guess is you have maybe a 24 to 48 month window to flip.
Okay.
I think you can play the appreciation game for a year or two, and then get out. Okay. Unless you have 30 to 40 to 50% or more down, and you can really depend on a $300 to $400 to $500 a month cash flow.
I tell you, so many of the people that I know are pulling their money out and putting it into real estate.
So I think the stock market will go first. That's my personal opinion. It's just way too high. But when people are like, I'm going to rent my house and I'm going to make $100 a month off of it, like that is a bad idea. And they're like, why? I'm going to make $100 because you're not taking into account all the unintended things that are going to happen. The month or two that it's going to be empty, the water heater that's going to blast, you know.
And I agree with you. You're not going to get ahead.
You're not. And if the market is in, that's going to become a liability for you that you're not going to want to deal with, especially if you feel like you're losing equity. You know, the trick of my father on a lot of his rentals were, even in 2009, when it lost 40 to 50% of its value, he owned it cash, so he's still making $1,500 a month. There's still beautiful cash flow.
There's checks and balance,
Yes.
as far as how much you've got into it out of your pocket.
Yeah, so unless you have that, but even then, you got to look at it like, I'm going to see a 4 to 7% return.
Okay.
Right? If you're just taking your cash and putting it in, you got to really weigh the opportunity cost of, I got invested in a house, am I investor in business? Most people are not sophisticated enough to invest in business. They don't have those opportunities, right? They're not in that game, so their best place to park
they don't
it.
know the questions to ask.
Exactly. They're just not in those worlds.
Yes.
So the best place to park their money is to get your 5 or 6% return on the home, pay down the mortgage or pay off the mortgage, and then
and again, you can't go wrong with it because you can wait it out.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It's like a great relationship with a person. Even when things are bad, it's still a value to your life.
Or they die. There was something wrong. To say that too.
Okay, but a great question. I was actually going there with what to do if you're in the investment game. So if there is going to be a little bit of risk, though. I mean, there's things out of our hands. If this coronavirus becomes an issue, you're going to see the market have issues, right?
This totally freaks me out.
If the government has issues, depending upon the election and the impeachment, things like that, these are things that can affect our market. We have no control over.
See, viruses, this is one thing that I really don't, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what
because then you start going, the China markets can be affected. The China markets will affect our markets. Next thing you know, the stock market drops. It dropped a little bit yesterday, went down to 28. These are the things that are in our hands. Maybe they take the money, they pull it back into real estate. The reality is this: if you make great decisions starting out, you're going to be in the best position. If you extend yourself and you gamble too much, problemas.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Absolutely.
So, if you're going to play the musical chair game, just make sure you get out before, don't wait till the music is really going really fast. You know what I mean? Get out. But I think...
That's why you just articulated what was going through my head, which is that, some people are going to wait until the very, very end.
Don't be over leveraged.
And they're going to miss it.
Yes. And that's what got people in trouble in 2008. So, everyone I knew had 3, 4, 5 rentals. Realtors, gardeners, adult entertainment, dancers, you name it. And the reason why I'm saying that, not to pressure, I'm just saying a wide variety thought they were real estate investors.
Nobody was exempt. Everybody was affected. Nobody was protected in that. Everybody felt it. It's at what degree, how bad it was, but it was bad for everybody.
And when the music stopped, there was a lot of people with no seats.
Yes.
Right.
But again, I don't think we're going to feel it like we did in 08.
So if the music stopped now, we wouldn't, because people didn't buy with crazy loans. How this CFPB plays out could affect. We could see a huge run up in the next 3 years, and then the music stops, and people have 100% loans. 80/20s.
I think some other things will step in to kind of pick up where CFPB is leaving it open.
Yeah, because if not a government agency, I'm sure entrepreneurs are just going to put brakes on themselves.
It's not what I meant.
So, here, this is an informational show. So you need to know the pros and the cons. The best decisions you can make are informed decisions. Would you agree with that?
Well, no, I'm going to disagree with that statement. I think I should go running around all willy-nilly with no information in my head. Of course I do.
You think the majority of people make informed decisions? You think the majority of people run around willy-nilly?
You know what? I think a lot of people get their information from the illegitimate sources.
Alternative facts. It only took, let's see, how long? It only took 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But yes, I agree with you.
I think you need to go to people who actually are licensed in in their profession. And it's not just about what my friend said and my friend said. It's like, because everybody's situation is different. And even though we may be trying to accomplish the same things, your background and what you're working with and my background, what I'm working with, are not going to be the same. So
Agreed.
we're not going to travel the same road to get there.
I agree a ton, but I do think you need to play chess in this. And you can overthink it, and you can definitely lose opportunities. And I'm a big fan of not hesitating and going. But I do believe that you must be cognizant, like a part of me is rooting for a little slowdown.
Okay, that's the cautious side of you.
It's not, it's the opportunistic side of me.
You think? Okay.
Let me tell you why. The smart money will wait or pull out before the music stops and jump right back in when the music is.
That's what everybody is. That's what everybody wants to do.
Well, even in business, half my competitors, anyone could be successful when there's 1.5 million realtors and there's, how successful is it going to be when there's 800,000 realtors? The cream rises to the top. So you gotta.
Like here?
Yes. That's the thing. We're gonna have to say no to a lot of people, like we already do. But if a competitor goes out of business, I maybe want 10%, 5% of their agents, right? But then it makes sense. That's when the long-term play and the smart decisions really pay off. That's where patience and diligence really work out. And I think, everybody wants to go all in with too much risk. And then some people don't want any risk. The smart is go right in the middle. Buy your rental houses, put 30% down. Buy your own house. Put enough money down that in any market you feel comfortable with your payment. If I get laid off and I have 6 months of reserves in the bank, I'm in a good position.
I'm good.
Exactly, right? I have 20 or 30% down. If I get laid off, I can sell the house, pull equity out, and start over, and I'm not upside down. It's making these decisions on the front end that's going to give you more options, better options on the back
That's just
end.
going back. Having your exit strategy up front, as opposed to just going, oh shoot, what am I going to do now?
Exactly.
Figure it out beforehand.
So it's very difficult to say, don't buy, don't sell, buy, sell. Every situation is unique.
Yes.
But do it intelligently. Don't be house poor. Make sure you could afford it. Get a good interest rate. Hold on if you can. Right?
Exactly.
We're all in agreement. But also, sleep with one eye open. CFPB moves some stuff. Okay, interesting.
This just hit. Let's see what else shakes out.
Exactly. But don't go in blind, baby. Okay, what else do we got? We're on the same page. And I'm very excited. If I saw an opportunity to invest in a home, right, with great upside, personally, I'm buying it. And then I'm going to potentially flip it, or I'm going to see what my
now,
rental market.
This is as of today.
As of today.
This date.
I'm buying the flip. And I'm not even a flip. I may put it on the market for a high rent.
This is not in 18 months from now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now. I buy it intelligently. I get either a good interest rate or I buy cash.
Okay.
I put smart money into it. It's where I can get a high rent or I can get a high return on my flip. If I can't get a high return on my flip, I'm very excited that I'm going to be able to get a high return on the money I invested on a monthly cash flow. If I can't cash flow it, I'm going to sell it. Worst case, I break even and I have a lesson learned.
There you go. And
Even
sometimes that's what it is, and you get the lesson.
Even if I lose money, I got a write-off. Right? You got to protect your downside all the time. And at the same time, be willing to pounce when the opportunity arises. So, all right. So
Okay.
let's talk about something that just came up, and then we'll jump into Larry. I haven't got to BS with you every day. Did you hear that we are now seeing acceleration clauses? Do you remember acceleration clauses?
I remember this, and we brought this up in earlier. I was like, oh, we saw some crazy things, which means agents have to be even more diligent in watching over the whole transaction.
You make your money in
There's
it.
no excuses for going, woo-hoo.
So what's an acceleration clause? So here's what's happening. Last week we talked about how one of Angie's listings had a line out the door. It was a line out the door, and they priced it aggressively. It went.
Oh, see, that's how you get the line out the door, is you price it aggressively. And aggressively doesn't mean I'm the highest priced one in the whole community. It means the opposite.
So here's what's crazy. She priced it about 20, 30,000 less than comps,
So they were serious.
and they ended up getting 20 or 30,000 more than comps.
Look how that works. It's amazing.
So that was on the list side. Now on the buy side, she was starting to get some interesting offers. Now we're seeing acceleration clauses. So an acceleration clause, the division of real estate looks down upon it, and so do we at Urban Nest. Here's what an acceleration clause looks like. You put in a counter, we will top any offer that you get.
You can't do it.
It's basically a blank check, and you're also you're relying on the word of the listing agent. So basically, it's like this: I offer $380. She offers $385. Well, I have an acceleration clause, so I go to $390. She goes to $395. I go to $400. She goes to $405. I go to $410. So if she keeps going, there's so much opportunity for fraudulent activity on this. You could have a straw buyer on the other side, just keep pushing it out. So acceleration clauses are bad. Now, if she has an acceleration clause and I have an acceleration clause, and you're the seller,
Where do we go?
it's infinity, which is insane. So then people like to do this opposite thing. They say, okay, I'm going to put an acceleration clause. I'm going to start at 380, but I'm going to stop at 400.
Okay, I feel there has to be caps.
Okay, so I agree with you.
And there has to be limits.
Of course.
Okay.
But if you're going to cap it at 400,
Why didn't you just write it at 400?
exactly. So I tell this story all the time. The way I got my house in 2013, which was a crazy market, was I put the...
That was a crazy market. 12, 13?
Insane. And this is where we're going.
Okay, let's go.
I said, here's the number. I'm not waiting for you to wait all weekend. Counter me if you need to, but once the offer expires, you have to go hope that you get a better offer than me. I made a very strong offer. I basically...
But you made it clear that
it was listed at...
we've got a timeline, and I will be done when it expires.
It was listed at $585, right?
Mm-hmm.
I offered $6. Okay? He came back at $610, and I took it. My comp in 2.5 months was $750.
Ooh.
Because I was so aggressive. I said, take it or leave it. So, not everyone has the ability. If you're an FHA, you don't have the ability to go in strong. But if you want to go in strong, you better not hesitate. We talked about this. You better not come in with your best offer now. Don't play games.
Well, don't play. Even people, and you throw out FHA there, but even then, we've got buyers that are saying, well, I still want to get the best deal that I possibly can. Why don't we try this? You know what? I don't know that you get to just try it. I think that there's some other things that you need to do, which is realize you've got some competition going on, and if this is what your max is, then just go. As long as you're okay with what that payment is, get your house. Right now, I do think there's going to be more inventory coming on, but if you finally found the house, go buy your house.
Yeah,
Don't let somebody else take it away from you.
The seeing acceleration clauses is an indicator to me that things are changing rapidly. I have not. Have you seen them in a while?
Seen what?
Acceleration clauses?
I have not seen one in several years. I've not seen one. I'm pretty adamant when talking with the agents of what they can and cannot do anyway.
Wasn't one of our
it's
agents.
like-
I just saw it, but we had the
But no,
conversation.
no, we didn't.
we
I haven't
rehashed
seen one come in.
Just to put it out there, urban nest agents, no acceleration clauses. If you even think you need one,
It's a foolish move.
you have to cap.
It's,
You have to cap the amount. If you're capping the amount,
then you should have just gone there anyway.
yeah. I mean, think about this negotiation. All right, I'm going to offer you 5, but I'm not going to go above 10. You just gave all your hand anyway. I mean, you might as well just give the money. So, okay. Feels like 2013. Be smart. This is where having a realtor makes the most sense. Also, if the market's great, do you think it's smart to sell to an investor who's trying to get the best deal for your house without putting it on the market, a la iBuyers?
On this one.
So, thank you. iBuyers' whole story is don't go through the hassle, don't put it on the market, just sell it to me and I'm going to give you a great deal. This is the worst time to take one offer off the market from the offer pads and the Zillows and things like that. You want it on the MLS for everyone to see and to compete and get the highest offer possible.
I don't understand iBuyers. I really don't. Because I don't know certain situations, but they are so few and far between.
It's a convenience play, right?
You know what? I think I really need to be in dire straits.
I agree.
I mean, like, I've got to go now. I have to go now. I've got to take what I can and just run.
Exactly.
I mean, basically somebody's just, they're on it.
And even then.
Yes, even then I can still, if time is of the issue, I can still throw my house on the market with an agent and get more money.
Agreed.
I can still get more money working with an agent.
99 out of 100 times.
I don't understand how somebody's going to come in and dictate the whole contract to me on my house.
I agree. 100%. And if you're not sure, when you're talking to your agent, tell them to get an offer from one of these places and see how it competes.
And explain it.
Exactly.
So what the heck are they talking about? Because it's not that they don't use the same verbiage.
I'm curious to see how well they do in this market. If they do well at all. You know what I mean? Like, let's see how, with a 90-day, if you're on the market 90 days or 120, then it's maybe get an iBuyer, or maybe before you do an iBuyer, lower the price. Okay, so I think we hit on a lot. Let's bring in Mr. Perna.
Larry!
Me? You mean me?
It's all you!
There?
Yeah,
Master Inspector.
You don't have to call me master.
Nah,
but he does like it.
don't worry. Don't worry, there's only one king, Larry.
That's right.
So what's up? Oh, let me
hard.
give him a formal introduction. This is Larry Perna, an Italian from Philly. Right?
Sure.
Beautiful family, great business, honest guy. He is a saver of deals, not a killer of deals, like a lot of home inspectors.
Which I really appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah. My glass is always half full.
And Larry is a testament where something I am going to brag. Behind the camera is the glue of our company, Miss Danny Burns, and she just celebrated her 7-year anniversary with us. 7 years. Right?
Yeah.
You, my friend, have been here almost from the very first day. I mean, what, a couple of months in?
Yeah, I think you had 50 people.
Okay, yeah, all right. So probably like 6 months, right around Danny's time, right? I was thinking about this the other day. Not to pat me or Pops on the back, but I was like, I am so proud of the fact that we're approaching year 8. And we've had a relationship like with you this entire time. We've had people who are, I don't know what to call it, partners, friends, employees, whatever, that have been with us for 7 years. Berna, 6 years. Laura's title from day one. West Freedom from day one. Because you never want to compromise who you are You want to know that you are invested in the people and they're invested back in you. So thank you for investing in us
Yeah.
this entire time.
I always thought that was a great attribute for business, friends.
Yeah.
Like I have friends from childhood still,
Yeah.
from when I was 9 years old that live here in Las Vegas, and we still see each other. I got them to move here, of course.
Yeah.
And I always thought, you know, when you meet somebody who's 45 years old and they have still some of the same friends from childhood, that means something to me. And same in business. If you have somebody who has the same vendors and the same associates, the same title companies or whatever, you know, sometimes these things get bought and sold and change names, but if it's the same people, that's the important thing.
And then you start thinking, like, if I'm going to have a relationship with somebody, like, let's say Jen coming in, right? She's already been here over a year, almost a half. What does it say to someone like her if you're my 10th inspector in 8 years and
Right.
Danny's my 10th person, rather than like we've been loyal to each other for the entire time?
I know companies like that.
Yeah, well, me too.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot, but it also shows two parties that continually show up for each other, right? And you have stepped up continually throughout the years. No matter, you started small, we were small. Now you have how many? 11 inspectors. Unbelievable.
I have one guy in training right now. He just passed his test first try. He's on his apprenticeship. He grew up in construction, so I think that's why he passed his test the first time. Nobody really does anymore. It's state. It's a national test. It's pretty hard. But so he's been about 30 properties with me. We did one from 1953 yesterday. Old Vegas house.
It's a good way to learn.
Septic system. Oh yeah, I told him. I said, I know this is a bitch, you know, but
yeah.
That one had everything.
Oh yeah, polybutylene piping, copper piping, galvanized piping, cast iron.
You know what you should do? You should keep those people's information and be like, hey, I'll give you a free inspection every single time I hire a new person, just so I could come over here and show them how to do it. That should be like your training manual.
Well, we have no shortage of those training.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. But in the same day, we also did a house that was 10 years old and had almost nothing wrong with it. So part of the reason that we do I make them do 100 houses minimum with me, like physically. So it takes months before I.
So they all come in and they train with you.
They do.
Super important.
Now I'll also send them with Dustin and some of the other guys who've been around forever, because I don't want them just to focus on the things that I focus on, because these guys have actually done more inspections than me. We've done almost 16,000 inspections.
Yeah.
So I've only done 3,000 or 4,000 or something. So
collectively.
yeah. So we have the mentality of the hive, right? So yesterday morning we had a meeting of all of the guys, and we do kind of like a postmortem, a quarterly postmortem. Okay, here's what went great. Here's what we could improve on. Like Nikki, my daughter, runs the office.
And she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she's worked for me for like 13 years, and she's done a great job. But she gets the phone calls. And so it used to be years ago, we get a call a week about the GFCI's trip. Hey, my power's out in my powder room or my master bathroom. So then we'd have the meeting, go, okay guys, make sure that all the power's on, little things like that.
Yeah.
Wipe your feet. If you drop insulation on the carpet, please pick it up. Just a little, close the blinds.
Yeah.
Things
Those
like
little
that.
extra things like that
Yeah.
really make a difference.
I know. And so usually the phone call goes first to the real estate agent too, right? So you don't want bad blood there. So anyway, so we have these meetings once a month, and we talk about things, and we talk about other things like high-tech plumbing or polybutylene or other things trending, right, that we run into. And that way we share all the knowledge, and I ask for suggestions from the group, and it was a pretty good meeting.
It's the little things like that make such a difference. I mean, I recently sold my house, I think last year, and the inspector came over, and when I got my house back, it wasn't working. You know what I mean? Like, I had to try to refigure out everything in my house, like the AC and the fireplace wasn't working, and it's like they messed with everything, and now I had to
And didn't put it back to rights.
put my house back together. Exactly. So something as little as that makes the biggest difference in the
Yeah, that 1953 house, we were there for many, many hours. And this guy said he used to have parties with the mayor. he named the mayor from the 70s. I don't remember the guy's name. He goes, oh yeah, he liked to party. You know, but anyway, so it's that neighborhood, right? Campbell Drive, Charleston. But anyway, so this older fellow only lived in one portion of the house, and so he covered one of the air conditioners with a tarp. We were on the second job, and I realized that we didn't put the tarp cover back on.
Oh, yeah. So you ran back.
So he had to run back after the second job, ran back there, knocked on the door, said, sir, we realized we forgot to put it. He was so happy that we,
Yeah.
you know, because this guy's like practically 90 and he, you know, everything was his way. Right?
Yeah.
So he appreciated that. Went back there and put the bungee cord around the thing. And I mean, there's really no reason to cover an AC condenser, but that was the way he
You
wanted
made him
it.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's one of those phone calls.
It is, yeah, it's things like that. He probably would have never noticed it, but it was
Yeah.
just, I realized, I went, oh no, I forgot to put the cover back on. Would
It's
you
a
run
good-
back over there? And, yeah,
And take
whatever.
care of it.
Yeah.
Personal touch that you always have, you know. You're not above going back and checking something out. And you
No.
don't leave people
I
hanging.
just took a phone call from a customer
Yeah.
in the lobby. I got a call yesterday from Gigi. She wants me to go back and check something on a house that we did in August.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, just tell her I'll come by. I'm not going to charge you for that kind of thing. So I've heard somebody say once, oh yeah, you're probably too big and there's no customer service. And I said, I answer the phones. I still do reports. I'm up late at night call checking stuff sometimes. You know, so yeah, I try to be there. I'm
Your
the
heart-
same guy that you
your heart's in
hired
it.
when, you know, it was me out there every day knocking doors.
We all do different things. I mean, it was just my father and I. Now there's Jennifer and Georgia, and there'll be more. Like, that's just the way it is. The key, though, is, in one of my CEO groups, it was explained really well. You don't hire the person that is good as the last person you hired. Because what happens is, if my best person is here, and then I hire here, by the time you end up hiring, we'll bring someone in like the last guy. Now you're bringing in someone less and less and less and less. So now I'm like, Danny, go hire someone like you. So I want it to be her expectations to be as high as herself.
Right.
To keep bringing people up and up and up. Because I don't want it to drop from the service that she gives
Sure.
down. I want it to be repetitive. Same thing with, that's why I brought in Jennifer and Georgia. That's why my dad and I, not to say that they're not capable and they're super smart, smarter than us, but the way we want things to do, it takes time to learn, right? I mean, you spend God bless, I spent a year in an office with my father. I mean, that is a gold medal in
I
itself.
say this all the time.
He must be a piece of cake
He
to work
is.
with.
He's a great person to work with. I think it's just because it's the
Whew.
father-son thing.
The director of Facebook
I
marketing, my
work with my
father.
son.
Did you see what happened on Facebook today, Dave? I'm like that. I already scrolled through it. It took me 3 seconds. Well, she said that. I'm like that. Yeah. I mean, it's great that I'm getting a second version of this, but
You know, I'll go one step further.
yeah.
So I get calls sometimes. My phone rang this morning at 7:30. I answered it, and somebody wanted to book a mold test
Yeah.
inspection. So I said, hey, look, I said, she goes, oh, I don't know how to approve from the owner of the home. It's a tenant occupied thing. Let me call you back. I said, okay, well, call after 8:30. I said, because my daughter runs the office. She's much better at this than I am. So when I first started, I booked everything. I carried a clipboard with me.
She is much better than you.
You're right. So if you call me and I book an appointment, good luck. You know, I mean, I try my best, but there's just so many pieces in their move. So I hired somebody, her, that's actually better than me at that. So,
She's
right.
on point too, and she gets everywhere where they have to go. Same thing with Bern. I'm like, I don't even know
Yeah.
where I'm supposed
Yeah,
to be.
You wouldn't want to do that.
I don't know
Right.
what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Call Bernadette. She'll figure it out, and I'll be there.
I call
Like,
Nikki to brains of the
Exactly.
operation. Same thing here, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, of
Not-
that
not with-
operation.
I'm talking about Bern. I'm just busting her chops. Nikki,
Oh.
yes.
Because she'll never hear about it, right?
No, really. I'm just kidding, Bern. I'm just kidding. Nothing.
Suddenly your mail doesn't get
See the
delivered.
look on Bert's face. It was like, oh.
You are the brains and the beauty of the operation, Bern, for sure.
So,
I will say this. She has been an absolute blessing in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, she has. She steps up. Another great investment. But Bern loves when I bust her chops. So.
Except for right then.
Yes. Yeah. So, but again, it's a family affair like it is with us,
Mhm.
and you know, there is that. You did say it. Like there was that point where you were like, man, I don't know. Like I gotta grow and grow and grow, and it's a tough call. Like how do you balance the threshold, right? Where's the threshold? It gets a continually moving target. With us, it's 500. We know when we have 3 full offices, that's where we're at. We'll start finding different ways. So how are you going to manage that?
Well, I mean, the first decision was when you hire your first employee, there you hit a threshold. You have to get workers' comp.
Yep.
You have to do all these other things, right? So I kind of let it build to the point where it's like, okay, I can't do any more without an employee. So finally, I just said, okay. So when I took the cover off, it wasn't just one person. So I hired, I don't know if you remember Ray.
I do.
And then I had Nikki, and then I quickly had another guy, but he never really made it through his training period.
Yeah.
But other than Ray, none of my hires have ever left.
Yeah, you're on a great run.
And then even Ray, when he left, 3 weeks later, he asked if he could come back.
Yeah, you've been on a great run.
So
This is a lot.
all of my inspectors have wanted to stay with me, so that made it easier to grow.
Yeah.
And I tell them in the beginning of their training period, I go, okay, we've been through about 20 houses. You're kind of learning what to do now. The state is going to issue your license. It'll be here any day. I said, but so we got to get like through 80 more houses. And at the end of this, you're going to be a really good inspector, and you're going to hate me.
Yeah.
I tell them that because I'm going to repeat the same things over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this is the proven way. This is a successful way to learn this stuff.
Plus, you're investing in them because if they decide to walk after inspection 100,
Yeah.
you gotta submit and surrender this. Like if you said tomorrow I'm gone and you got more money somewhere else, you gotta be able to be like, you know what, Jen? At least I never want you to leave, but I'm saying at least
I'm not leaving.
but at least you invested in that person, right?
Yeah.
And that's people want that investment, and
Yeah.
at the very least, you're gonna make the whole industry better. Right?
That's true.
You know what I mean? So if an agent ever leaves us because they think that they're gonna get better leads or some nonsense, and they end up like just like you, they end up coming back. At least we're putting them out. We leave them better than we found them.
Yeah. Also, that
That's
speaks
the
to your
whole-
position on the board, the unpaid position on the board,
Yeah.
right? Same with me, board of home inspectors.
You know,
So I want the industry to be better. These guys don't want to leave because we treat them well. We learn from each other, and yeah, it's been help. That's how we've grown by
And-
getting good people. I do a handshake deal with them.
yeah.
But look, I'm going to spend 400 hours with you. I want you to at least stay a couple of years.
Yeah.
After your training, you stay with me 2 years. You don't have to sign anything, just a handshake.
I love that.
And so far, everyone's stayed for, of course, many more years than that.
See, you're a stereotypical East Coast Italian guy. I love that.
I guess.
You really are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna get.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Like if you're gonna leave.
You're gonna be here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a lot of time into you.
That's
I'm
right.
very excited for our 2 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is right after I show them my
Exactly,
collection, right?
Beautiful. Well, it's Larry Perna, Bridge Home Inspections, the easiest phone number to ever memorize, 702-722-2222. Larry at Bridge Home Inspections. Guess what? You're going to get Nikki on the other line. She's a pleasure to deal with. She's sweet, plus she's no nonsense. She's going to get you where you need to go. She's going to get your inspection not ordered, scheduled. And listen, it's a big deal. If you, especially now, you're gonna have to win offers. So you may have to put in 7-day due diligences, right? That means if you put a 7-day due diligence in, you got to get that inspector out there immediately, day 1, day 2, because you're gonna need 4 or 5 days to negotiate the repairs
Oh
before
my gosh,
you
thank
do
you
it.
so much for saying that. Yes, don't wait.
Yes.
Yeah, we get sometimes customers call us and go, "Hey, can I do my inspection next Friday?" We're going, "Well, is that okay with your agent?"
Yeah.
Because they only have a few days to think, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, I better check." Yeah, you better check with your agent.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
I
oh,
really
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's super important. And it's good that you are even guiding them in that situation. It helps a ton. You know what I mean? Like, are you sure? You sure you want to do
Yeah,
this?
you want to do it a week from
Sure.
Thursday?
Yeah, because there's some agents
See,
out
and I'm
there,
the one that just goes, no, you don't want to do that. You need to do
Yeah.
it now.
which I'm glad you're aggressive because it's required. You know, some people still believe it's done the old way, where you only need to get the inspection in before the due diligence is up, and you have all the time in the world to negotiate the repairs.
Oh my gosh, there's so
Not
much more that
the
comes
case.
after
You got to
the
negotiate.
inspection report.
You got to negotiate the repairs before your due diligence is up, or you're not going to get any of these repairs done.
You have to come to resolution.
Exactly.
I don't need to just send it over and sit around and wait. Everybody has to agree.
Here's a question for you. What if you send in a request for repairs
Mm-hmm.
and they don't do anything with it? They don't sign
That's a
anything?
response.
That's a response. So if you
Huh?
get,
That's a response?
No response is a response, which is basically saying no.
No, we're not doing it.
so then the buyer has to decide
Do you want to continue with the deal?
to whether or not say we're canceling if you don't fix it, or let's do an extension. The extension has to be signed prior to that due diligence being up. You need to get these things done. There is a sense of urgency. Now, most of the time, a seller wants to work with a buyer because they're in escrow and they want to get it
The
done.
house has been off the market for a week. or
Exactly.
whatever.
But in a market like this, where there's realtors calling saying, you know what, we would have given you 5,000-10,000 more. There's less of an urgency for the seller to be like, yeah,
That's
sure.
not ethical though, right? How would they know what the sales contract price was?
They don't, but that's how, listen, in a crazy market, crazy things start happening.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying we're there, but I think we're trending that way where you may be like, all right, well, I don't need any repairs. I'm still going to get the inspection to see what my liability
We
is.
hear that sometimes too.
Yeah,
Like, this guy's not going to fix anything, but we want to know what we're getting into.
of course.
And they should. They absolutely should.
It's like dating.
How's it like the
I'm not sure
I'm not-
about that.
I just want to. I just want to see where we're at. I'm not gonna be able to fix anything. I just want to see how we're at in the relationship,
Okay.
right?
The dating part
Yeah.
is that.
That's how people remember. You have to either equate it to food or dating, or people just don't remember.
See,
I'll remember that.
I think
Exactly.
dating, everybody just wants to put on their best. And home inspection, I want to figure out what the worst is.
Wouldn't it be great to get a home inspection though of the person you're dating? You know what I mean?
You know what? They do it on cars. They have Carfax and stuff. People should come.
People facts, that's a great idea.
How many kids? How many past relationships?
How many divorces?
Exactly. Can I
How
get
much
a
debt do you have?
background check?
Yeah,
Right?
so some of the
Wait a
other
minute.
things that, yes.
Peoplefacts.com. I'm going to reserve that.
You can hire 11 home inspectors for that as well.
Watch, next year it'll be out there.
Exactly. Well, you're welcome. You see? We're good. All right, we're going to end it with this. We do a little segment at the end called, do you believe it's a seller's market or a buyer's market? Buyer's market would be that the buyers have a lot of opportunities to buy houses and they have room to negotiate. Seller's market would be that there's less houses on the market and there's more buyers, so the sellers have maybe the upper hand.
I think it's still seller's market.
I agree.
I mean, I was at the Women's Council meeting and I saw the presentation by the guy from UNLV
Oh, yeah.
but he said, is it a better time to sell or buy? And I'm like, well, you can do both. 'Cause
Agreed.
You can upgrade. Like my daughter
He
bought
left
a
it very
condo
clear.
4 years ago. You
It's
can
kind
sell a
of-
house.
It's kind of an interesting
take-
way that he went about
you
it.
can take the
It's
equity
like,
and upgrade and buy a newer house that's, right? So anyway, I thought it was a good time to buy and a good time to sell.
I think based upon your criteria, I would say it's a balanced market, and it's balanced based upon price point.
So I'm looking down here, and
God, he's
But it's
so gonna-
leaning-
just-
it's
he's so gonna bust my chops
so
right
I didn't
now.
even notice this till right now. Georgia Papora says seller's market.
Everybody says seller's market.
Dave
except for me.
Sr., the biggest pain in the butt of them all when it comes to this, has finally conceded to a seller's market.
I think you wore him down.
And I am steadfast.
Have always said yes.
Seller's
He
market.
has not moved. He has not
Still
moved.
But with
seller's
interest
market.
rates so low, I wouldn't be against buying a house right now.
Oh, I'm not saying that. So,
Yeah.
so interest rates, definitely, we talked about buyers, a great opportunity, but supply and demand, more demand than supply.
All right, so yes, slightly.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I see.
But
agreed.
buyers are buying them up.
Because I get to talk to the
And
first
there's-
clients and they're like, oh
here's
yeah, we have an
other-
offer on 3 different houses.
Now you gave an example earlier where that seller was aggressive in
Yeah.
their pricing. But if we have sellers that are priced right,
Mhm.
that they're not high, they're not low,
Yeah, that's always the case.
buyers are coming in, they're not having to come out of pocket, they're not having to get really aggressive with their offers, as opposed to a seller aggressive in their listing, buyers get aggressive in their offers. But
I think there's opportunities if the house isn't redone, if it's been on the market a while, but even in my neighborhood, I was sitting on 2 houses that need a full gut, and Angie and I were flirting with the possibility of flipping them. They're both gone. Gone. And they need work, and I'm sure there's gonna be dumpsters in front of them, but they're gone. They're like, so there was an opportunity to maybe not steal them, but get them for a good price.
mhm.
They're gone. So I believe truly that most sellers are going to sell at a higher price than what they bought for at this point, and either at or above comps. Now we were at comps for a while there in 18 and 19, where people are like it's a buyer's market. I'm like, no, it's a true seller's market along the lines of you're gonna pay what it's worth, not sellers just going, I pick whatever number I want. I think sellers gonna have a little bit more leverage and get a little bit more than maybe it's worth. Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. All right. So we're gonna end it with Chaos is Coming. Will you have a chair when the music stops? Have a great week, guys.